Of course I'd rather have a proper DAC amp and headphone setup for gaming, but today we're talking about wireless. And I love wireless convenience. Corsair really hasn't changed a ton since we looked at the original Virtuoso back in the fall of 19, but they did add Bluetooth and they did it very well. Naturally, we're also going to talk about how these stack up against some of the other high-tier offerings out there. You ready? Let's go! So the Virtuoso is back, brings Bluetooth and a new price point of $269.99. This would normally mean the price flight would be the XT at the top at $269 with the SE at $209 and the standard Virtuoso RGB at $179.99. But a recent and possibly temporary price drop has the SE at $169.99. There is also a T-Pain edition of the XT at $299, which appears to be a limited colorway but does not auto-tune your voice, which if you ask me is complete shit. Oh, well, never mind. I guess it does. My bad. In terms of design, not a lot has changed from the last version, which was and still is built very well. Lots of aluminum on the frame, all the adjustments feel very premium. Cups still have 180-degree swivel, so you can wear the cans flat in either direction, which I really like. Internals are largely the same as well, still have 50mm matched dynamic drivers, still have 20 to 40,000 hertz range. It is worth a mention that the actual range of human hearing is between 20 and 20,000, so anything marketed above and beyond that is generally the subject of some controversy and also some serious dry-ass Reddit nerd fights. Really the only design change that I can pick up on is that the headband and the ear pads seem to be overstuffed for additional comfort, since one, these are pretty heavy at around 388 grams on my scale, and two, one of the biggest criticisms of the original Virtuoso was the ear cups being round, not the optimum ear shape, and also being very shallow, which resulted in a lot of people's ears touching multiple points in both the pads and the drivers. Your mileage may vary, but my ears still touch the driver and various points inside the pad. I actually didn't wind up keeping the original Virtuoso long term because of both this and the overall size of the headband. While it's both flexible and durable, my head is bigger than the max adjustment, which means the bottoms of these ear cups sit on my earlobe, so I don't get a good seal there, and that's where your bass response comes from. Like, I have to hold these against the side of my head to get a good seal. Big head guys, these are not for you. But the major change is the addition of Bluetooth. I'm always a fan of this. It allows for a whole new level of flexibility in that now you can use your headset on the go with your phone or your iPad. You can also use it connected to your mobile or your iPad at the same time as your console, so you can listen to music while you're grinding or use it for Discord so you can have separate voice comms. You can also take calls while gaming. This is a big W, but the trick is it has to be implemented really well and it has to be easy to make adjustments on the fly. The Audeze Penrose we looked at not too long ago doesn't execute this well at all. And the Arctis Pro Wireless executes it well, but the issue there is that the controls are on the base station and not the headset itself, which could be an issue depending on your setup. The Virtuoso XT executes it very well. All the Bluetooth controls are on a little cluster on the right ear cup. I didn't even have to read the instructions. Long press on, power on puts it in pairing. Tapping power is play pause, and then you have independent volume up and down. A double tap on either one of those is track skip, plus you can answer and end calls right from the headset. Big round of applause for the engineering team on this one. This is how it's supposed to be done. The Bluetooth is no slouch either. It supports aptX HD if you're on a device that supports it. AAC on iOS devices. No aptX low latency support, but I don't get any noticeable latency while I'm gaming on mobile, at least not on the iPhone. So that brings total connections to 2.4 gigahertz wireless for PC and PlayStation, Bluetooth for any compatible device, plus wired USB, and 3.5mm for connections like an Xbox controller or a Switch. The Virtuoso XT also includes a license for Dolby Atmos headphone if you're on PC, fully supports PS5 spatial audio, and Apple Music spatial as well. The mic here remains largely the same, so it is still detachable. You've got that mini USB connector in there, and it still feels really overbuilt, which is great. It's huge too. The capsule on this thing is like 9.5mm. It is omnidirectional too, which almost automatically always means two things. One, it's going to make your voice sound way better than a unidirectional mic, and two, it's not going to cancel out like any background noise at all. So unless you're in a very quiet room, do your team a favor and use push to talk. It's one of the best sounding mics out there, including wired models, which is insane. You can't use this wired as well over USB, and it just sounds better than what you're hearing right now. I also love that it has a mute indicator in your peripheral vision and has the mute button on the mic itself, so when you're not using the mic, it's not cluttering up the onboard controls on the headset. It does sound a little darker than some out there, like the high end isn't really emphasized, but overall, Great sounding mic. You do have lag-free side tone here or zero latency mic monitoring. The only time you're gonna hear any delay between what you say in the mic and what you hear back in your own headset is if you are using a piece of software like VoiceMod. The Virtuoso XT is definitely feature-packed, but it is missing one big feature for a PC gaming headset. There is no secondary audio driver, so you can't have like Discord on one device and your primary game audio on another, and then balance back and forth between those two. Battery life is rated at around 15 hours. It charges over USB-C. For whatever reason, single product reviews just aren't hitting right now, so I'm working on some interviews and some stuff that digs a little deeper into the brands behind some of the products that we use. The problem is, the algorithm hates that from me. Honestly, all it wants is keyboard coverage. I have no idea why. Luckily, when I do want to develop content like that, I have a home for it over on Nebula. If you're not familiar, Nebula is an independent streaming platform built by me and a lot of other creators you probably heard of like Renee Ritchie, Epos Vox, and MKBHD. It gives us a place to put content that probably won't perform very well on YouTube. It's free of any ad reads, just like this one, and it's really easy to download videos and watch later offline. The best way to get access to Nebula is through CuriosityStream, the sponsor of today's video. CuriosityStream is the world's leading documentary streaming platform. They've got thousands of really high quality, high budget documentaries. I just finished up one called Egypt's Lost City that revolves around the discovery of Luxor, a 3,400-year-old lost city. It's fascinating. I love the feeling that there's still discoveries and mysteries hiding out there. And CuriosityStream loves supporting independent creators, so they've partnered up with Nebula. Right now, you can get access to both platforms for 26% off or $14.79 per year. That's under $15 for the whole year, and you get access to the entire catalog of both CuriosityStream and Nebula. If that sounds like a good deal to you, head over to curiositystream.com/badseedtech to get started. Big thanks to CuriosityStream for continuing to support the channel, and thank you so much for your time. Now, in terms of pure sound quality, here come the rankings. Notably absent is the GSP 670 from Sennheiser or Epos, which sound really good. The problem is my copies, even with the firmware updates, all have noticeable audible interference if you're also using a wireless mouse. That's an automatic DQ from me based on the use case for a product like this. They may have fixed this in more modern product revisions, but they were not able to correct it via firmware for their earlier product runs. Unsurprisingly, the Audeze Penrose at $299 takes top spot for audio fidelity, but not in any other category. They're the least comfortable on the list, worst in class battery life, subpar mic performance, very poor Bluetooth implementation, but if you're the kind of person that puts audio fidelity above everything else, it's the Penrose. They have a level of detail and separation that you just don't find on any other headset. Next up is the Arctis Pro Wireless, which is still going for about $330. It's a really stock flat tune. It's a little light in the low end, which you can't really EQ out of, but overall, it's a very neutral, detailed experience. If I were going to listen to music often on Bluetooth, I would choose these. Then we've got the Virtuoso XT at $279. Sounds great in gaming, but there is a boost in the low mids that makes that area sound very crowded and harsh when you're listening to music. If you're planning on using these often for Bluetooth music listening, you should be aware of that. Honorable mention to the Astro A50 Gen 4, even though it lacks Bluetooth, it's not one you normally think of if you're primarily a PC gamer, but it's really comfortable. The charging dock is pretty nice. The sound presentation is a little veiled, meaning the highs don't really punch through the mix. They're not really direct. I think they traded this in favor of a really big, wide soundstage on the Astro. It's pretty capable, but I'm not sure I'd spring for the $299 for it given the limited feature set. It's a really weird conclusion today because when I first reviewed the Virtuoso SE, I felt like it made sense at its price point of $209, but I noted the lack of Bluetooth to be a missed opportunity. Now that Bluetooth is here and they've implemented it very well, I still think I'd go the extra stretch for the Arctis. It's more comfortable, it's built like a tank. I've had mine for like 3 years. The hot swap battery system is second to none. The flexibility, functionality of the base station is great. The Bluetooth is definitely implemented better on the Virtuoso than on the Arctis, and you have to determine if that base station is gonna work with your setup or not, and it is a $50 price climb to get to the Arctis, but I said what I said. I should say as well that there is definitely a point of diminishing returns on the audio quality in these wireless gaming headsets. If you don't need a lot of the feature set of the flagships, you can find very capable audio on the HyperX Cloud 2, the Razer Blackshark Pro V2, and the Logitech Pro X Wireless and save a considerable amount of money. All right, I think that's it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay up.